Okay, students. So in this course, we are going to cover these topics. We have introduction, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, MySQL, Node.js project. We are starting from the front end till the back end. We will understand, or we will try to cover everything. Okay, so that will give you a complete understanding of the web development, full stack development. Normally, if you have heard about that concept, especially when you are looking for a job with a full stack development. So it is a full stack development course. Here we have some, what you can say that some books, which are the course books for this one. Fortunately, they are freely available online. You can click on the links, you can download. But if it's always better to buy the books rather than, pirate or hint. So let's start. Time to start. So this is our computer, because whenever we say web development, we always talking about the computer. We are talking about some devices, whether it is a tablet, whether it's a mobile, whether it is a laptop or desktop. We are talking about a computer system. Doesn't matter in which form it is. So in the 1960s, we have computer very big. Sometimes these computers in 1940s, they are bigger than this room as well. And then they can only perform very some small calculations. They are not perform multiple tasks that these small computers which are in our hands, like mobile devices, can do a lot of things for us. These computers in the past, they can only do a very small things. So from where the internet comes in? Okay, internet comes from the ARPANET project, which has been sponsored or funded by the US Defense Organization, or defense or military, you can say that. US Defense, US military, they have funded that project during the World War II and after that. Why? Because they were doing some research in the top universities. Right now, they are top universities in the world. Like we talk about the MIT or the Stanford or the Caltech or the what other? I mean, they are Boston Institute of Technology and so on. So we are talking about the top universities, and some universities are on the East Coast. If you are familiar with the US geography, East Coast and the West Coast. If we take a flight from here to Jeddah, it is, I think, 1 hour and 5 minutes or 1 hour 10 minutes, something like that, from Riyadh to Jeddah. But if we take a flight from East Coast to the West Coast, it will take 8 9 hours. So you can imagine how big that difference is, that the distance. And if someone who is working in a university in the East Coast, he's doing some research in making new innovations, new ideas, and he want to share those ideas with his colleagues or the other institutions on the other side of the United States or the West Coast, then it write down all those ideas on the paper, and then using the US Post, postal services, they send that documents, and then of course there is a chance that someone is open it and then read it, and if it is a confidential, then it's get some problems. But consider that everything is confidential, no problem at all. It will send those documents, maybe it will take 10 15 days to reach over there, just. And then the other person open that document, read it, and then write his answers back, maybe 2 3 days, and then write the answer, then send it back. So you can imagine, we are talking about a communication, one time communication, more than a month. To solve that problem of the communication, they started that Advanced Research Project Agency network. All these agencies or the network, defense organization and the universities, they participate in that, and then they make a network. And that time, you remember, we only have the radio system for the communication. Wireless communication is only a radio. We don't have the mobile system, we don't have the GSM system, the digital mobile system. So we don't have all that. So they make, maybe after 10 15 kilometers, they make a tower, radio tower, so that they can relay. So tower 1 send to the tower 2, tower 2 send to the tower 3, tower 3 send to, and so on. So in this way, they can start the communication. But that communication can happen in few minutes or in few hours. So if they want to send a complete document or 10-page or 15-page document, they can. It will take only just few minutes to transfer from the East Coast to the West Coast. So rather than waiting for the one more than a month for the communication, they can send those doc informations in minutes. So that is the first network they built among the different defense research organizations and the universities, so they can communicate their research and innovative ideas easily and quickly. And that become the base, that become the reason that we make the internet, the network of networks. Okay, do you understand? So that's why. And don't worry about this. I'm not going to ask you about that what you can say that I'm not going to ask you about the history in the quiz or the exams or the assessments, only the concepts. And then I will tell you which is when we're talking about the concept, they are important for the assessment, but not for the history. Again, 1983, that is the official birth of the communication protocol, TCP and IP. What do you mean by the TCP and IP protocol? For example, we are communicating with each other. Huh? You are native Arabic speaker, and I am the native Punjabi speaker. I'm from Punjabi speaker. If I start speaking Punjabi, you cannot understand. If you start speaking Arabic, I cannot understand. So if we don't follow some protocols, like we need to teach, like according to the university, Prince Sultan University, we have a rule that we need to teach our courses in English. And if we don't follow that principle or that rule, we cannot communicate with each other. Yes. So protocol is also a rules of engagement, rules of communication between different type of the networks and the computer and the devices. So when I say TCP, what we protocol, IP, Internet Protocol or Internet Networking Protocol, TCP, Transfer Communication Protocol. So it is nothing, just the common rules which everybody need to follow so that they can communicate over the network. Doesn't matter they are using the different type of machines, they are using different type of operating system, they are using different type of the communication devices or the network devices. Okay, you understand? So I will talk about the TCP and IP more details. These are the concepts. So concept mean there is something which you need to understand, and I can ask some questions in the assessment. Here's again some history. This is the champion Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. He started, or he gave the idea of the World Wide Web. We have the TCP, we have the IP protocols. On top of that, it developed the hypertext transfer protocol, the web pages, how we can transfer from one machine to the other. So that is the idea of the World Wide Web. He write a document, and then he is considered as the father of the World Wide Web or the WWW. Is this clear? Then we have three fundamental technologies for the web development, for the web. Of course, backbone, the bone is TCP and IP. And I'm pretty sure that in the networking protocol, networking course, you may have studied these, or you must have studied these. What is the IP address? What is the internet linking protocol? What is the TCP? But I will just give you some ideas or some touch back those, revise those things. We have a hypertext transfer protocol. It means that the web pages we want to transfer from one computer to the other, and that need to follow the hypertext transfer protocol. If we want to identify a unique resource on the internet, on the network, then we have a URI, uniform resource identifier, URL, resource locator, uniform resource locator. And then we also have the HTML. HTML is the language in which we can write those hypertext transfer pages, texts. Okay. And then here is another example of the what you can say that history. HTML1 started in 1990, then it comes the HTML2, then HTML3, 4, and now we are living in the era of the HTML5. Okay, how it works? We have a network of networks. We call it internet. On the one side of the communication, we have different type of the clients. It could be a mobile, it could be a tablet, it could be a computer, it could be a anything. Nowadays, we also have these smart machines. Our AC is also smart. Our home lock is also smart. I can control it. Our cars are smart. I can start my car before I am reaching to the car. Remote control, we can do the things. So they are also connected with the internet. So they can also be considered as the client. And then we also have a server. Server, what comes when I say server in your mind? What comes in your mind? What is a server? Database. Okay. Any other question? Answer? So what do you think that a server is? It is a powerful computer. Okay. Any other questions? Any other suggestions or the ideas? It is a host. Okay. Communication. So if I say that, what is a server? Server is just a program which is running on a computer. That computer is powerful. Yes. That computer can host multiple websites, and each website has their own web server which is running in that is a program which is running in that computer. You also say communication. So again, it need to communicate over the internet. It need to be accessible on the internet. It is a computer in which multiple programs are running, and then they are accessible over the internet. That is our web server. Now, if we look at this is our internet, and then we have different clients, then we have different servers. This is only one server. It could be many servers. We have the microserver servers is different. HTML, Google server is different. Apple server is different. Our governments, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have their own server. Ministry of Interior, they have their own server. Different companies, they have their servers. AWS, Azure, all they have different servers. So we have many servers, and then we have many clients. Of course, we have billions of clients, maybe have millions of servers. Clients are more as compared to the servers. As you say that it's a powerful machine, it has more resources, it has more memory, it has more RAM, it has more communication channels, it has more processing power, computing power. So that's where we have less number of servers as compared to the maybe 101 or maybe thousands one. I don't know exactly right now. But we can ask the chat GPT what is a ratio between the clients and the servers in the world. So it will give you the idea. Now, if one of the client want to make a communication with this server, what it need to do? Remember we said TCP and IP? Handshake. Anyone else? So let's start with the first one. First of all, for example, I am a teacher and I want to communicate with your name is? Muhammad. Muhammad Utebi. I want to communicate with the father of Muhammad Utebi. And, I want to put a complaint against him. Just just for fun. What I need, how I can communicate. Request. If I want to write a letter to him, then I need the address. The first thing that I need the address. He is living in Saudi Arabia. Okay. Now every other country is excluded. He is living in Riyadh. Okay. Again, every other city is excluded. Now we are narrow down the search. Where exactly we want to pinpoint that address so that Saudi Postal Services can deliver my letter to the father of Muhammad Al Uthaybi. You understand? Is it clear? And I will write to his father that he's the excellent student and he's very, very vigilant. He's doing his excellent work. Okay. So I need to pinpoint Saudi Arabia, exclude all the other countries. Riyadh, exclude city. In this Riyadh, we have a neighborhood. Which neighborhood? Roda. In Roda, which city? With the street number. And then inside the street number, which house? Now, our postal service can deliver that letter. So we need the exact address, uniquely identified address. So internetworking protocol will give me that IP address. If a computer A, for example, this computer, uh, and let me put, so if I say that this is my, where is my, yeah, here, yep, here. This is our A computer. And this A computer want to communicate with the server. Of course, what I need to do, I need to understand where exactly that server is. So I need the IP address, number one thing. So for that one, we are going to use the internet networking protocols, the IP. And using those protocols and the rules, we will find out the exact IP address which will give me or uniquely identify this server for me. This server IP address. Uniquely identify. Give me the unique identifier address of that server so that we can make a communication. The second step is handshake. Using the TCP protocol, transfer communication protocol, I established the link through that jungle of network, we call it internet. We make a direct communication path between the computer A and our server using the IP address. Of course, A, the computer, also has its own IP address. Server has its own IP address. So we find the IP address of the computers A and the server which want to establish a communication. And using the TCP, transfer communication protocol, we will establish a complete path. For example, if I just quickly come down here and then I say it will go into this one and then that and then finally it reach here. So it create that path for me, TCP, transfer communication protocol. A will make a request to the server using the IP address that I want to communicate with you. I server will send back the response. Okay, I'm happy to answer your request or establish or a communication channel with you. They establish the communication channel after that handshake, and then A will send an HTTP request to the server. Server receive that request, process that request, and send back the response. And after that, it will remove, but you can say that it will, it will disestablish the communication channel between A and B. Find the IP address using the internet networking protocol. Using the TCP protocol, establish a connection between these two computers. Process one HTTP request and response. Request is coming from the client. Server process it, send back a response, and erase or finish that communication channel. Because once they establish that connection, they have reserved that part of the communication over the network. So they want to release it after they finish their communication. So they release it. You understand? So IP and the TCP will help. IP will help to identify two computers who want to make a communication. TCP will help us to establish the communication channel between that so that they can make the communication. And the HTTP is the hypertext transfer protocol where they can actually exchange the request and responses or the web pages from the server to the client, or maybe sometime it is client is sending something back to the server. Is it clear? So here comes the rules. IP, identify the computers on the network. TCP establish the connection, and hypertext to transfer those hypertext transfer pages between the two computers. So these three are the backbone of the World Wide Web. Okay. So in the background, this all is happening when we start making the pages and then we are communicating with the server. Actually, in the background, it is all happening. And at that time, I will not explain. Is it clear? And of course, the other computer the clients can also have the same kind of the process and establish the communication channel with the server, and then they can send back the response. Is it clear? So here is a link. If you click on the link and then you give any whatever web page you want to find out the IP address, for example, www.google.com, www.psu.edu.sa. So this online service will give you the exact IP address of the PSU server or the Google server or the Microsoft server. It gives you the IP address. When we are communicating between the computer, one computer is communicating with the other computer. One client is communicating with the PSU server. So for example, you open your mobile, open your web browser, whatever it is, Safari or Chrome, and then you say type www.psu.edu.sa. This computer, this name is for us to remember. We are can easily or www.psu.edu.sa. No, I can remember it. But if I want to remember 212.70.49.83, we are naive human beings. We can't remember it, you know. So difficult for us to remember. Just like if I say that I can remember the Muhammad Al Utebi name, but if he give me his ID, student ID, 2113567, what was that? Can you give me again? I can't remember. Sometimes you also don't remember. You also need to open your ID card and then you need to see that document over there. But you can remember the name of your friends, but you can't remember their IDs. So similarly, for us, we have the name of the website. For the computers, they need the IP address. So from where they can get the IP address? So first of all, if I give the inside my browser, if I just write the IP address, it will give me the same PSU homepage. Doesn't matter I'm writing the IP address or I am writing the www.psu.edu.sa. Doesn't matter. So now where I can get that IP address? I mean, for me, for example, you have your father is very happy, or university is not father, I just exclude the father. University has very happy and you have topped in the last semester, and university give you a brand new computer, a brand new touchpad or touch screen laptop, and you will be happy. Yeah, you got a new brand new laptop from the university free of cost. So you open that, you configure, starting the configuration. You first time you open the web browser, and then you type www.psu.edu.sa. Now, this computer, which is a brand new, it does not have any idea what is www.psu.edu.sa is. He don't have any idea. So what it will do, it will send a request to the domain name servers. Inside the world, we have a few, maybe hundreds, something like that. Exact numbers, I don't know. But we have some, maybe we have 4 or 5 domain name servers inside, or maybe 10, 20 domain name servers inside the kingdom. Maybe in the Middle East region, we have 50 or 60 domain name servers. Understand? So what is the purpose of that domain name server is? Domain name server is actually maintain the name of the website www.psu.edu.sa, and next to it is exact IP address. So what is the domain name server? It is just a register where it maintains the name of the website with its IP address. So what will happen? The brand new computer which you open up for the first time, and then you say that you want to write a thank you email to the president of the university. You want to find out the email of the president of university, and then you open the www.psu.edu.sa so that you can find out the the email address of the president of the university to thank him, to send him a thank you email. So it will send the request to the domain name server, because you say, I don't know the IP address of that server, PSU server, so I have to get that address. So how he know that which is the DNS server? Actually, DNS server maintained by mostly over the service providers, internet service provider, ISPs. whether it is the STC or the Mobile or whatever company that you are using. So they are connected with some uh, internet service provider. So internet service provider will tell your computer, okay, this is the IP address of the DNS server. Now, using that IP address, which has obtained from the internet service provider, it send a request to the DNS server and then get back the actual IP address of the psu.edu.sa. And using that IP address, it actually make us request to the PSU server and get back the response, that home page. Is it clear? What is happening in all that IP, TCP? What is the purpose of the domain name servers? Next day. So what is a domain name server? It is domain name is a unique name for your website, and the domain name servers actually maintain the name and the IP address in their database. Is it clear? So that is the point where we are going to left over this lecture because we are running short of our time. Am I? Yes. So next we will see that how we can use that domain name server. We also have domain name cache. We will talk about later. So that is for all today. All good? Thank you very much.